Now, in the last class, we have discussed about lead managers and the functions of lead managers in case of IPO. Now we'll start from a broker and dealers, especially those who are functioning in the capital market, especially in stock market. A broker, a dealer is a catalyst for financial transactions. What their function is, whatever the state, in case of buyer or sell, if you want to buy shares or you want to sell shares, you can't directly deal in the stock exchange. You have to make every transaction through brokers. So without brokers, involvement in the stock market is impossible. A structure of financial industry, so it is the financial industry is totally governed by regulatory bodies like Columbus Stock Exchange, Securities and Exchange Commission, and other relevant acts. And the regulatory bodies are controlling exchanges, stock exchange, and under the stock exchange, so there are brokers and dealers. So therefore, the brokers or dealers are work functioning in the exchange, and the brokers and dealers are keep relationship with investors. So this is the structure of financial industry. So this is how regulatory bodies control exchange, and say in Sri Lankan context, the Securities and Exchange Commission control Columbus Stock Exchange. And Columbus Stock Exchange, uh, under them, brokers and dealers are there. So brokers and dealers are directly related with investors, dealing with investors. Here, when we see the stock market, there are so many clients. Clients mean it may be in the form of a buyer of stocks and seller of stocks. We are talking about the secondary market, not the primary market. In the primary market, no, companies are involved. Companies issue shares. Company issues bond debentures. Right. That time, the involvement of brokers is not much, but their involvement are higher in the secondary market. In secondary market, there is no flow fund in from companies, so the transaction will occur among investors. Today, Mr. X can buy shares, and tomorrow he can sell it, and then buy shares, new shares, and sell to C, stocks investor D. Investor D can sell the shares to stock dealer, sorry, investor A. So the transactions are occurred in clients. The clients may be in the form of companies or institutions like mutual funds, trust, EPF, ETF, like that. And the brokers or dealers, maybe these brokers are individuals, person, right? Some brokers are corporations, like you can find there are so many stock brokers. Maybe we can find them in stock exchange. Yeah, CSC stock brokers. You see stock brokers. Yeah, here you can find uh, stockbrokers, SC Securities Private Limited, JB Securities Private Limited, Capital Trust Securities Private Limited. Right, there are here John Keells Stockbrokers, SMB Securities Private Limited, Asia Securities Holding Private Limited. So they have their own websites. Just visit the website. You can find here John Keells Stockbrokers. This is their home page, and here who we are. They're explaining about their functions. Right? And you can visit this website, SC Securities. Sambat, so it's a subsidiary of Sambat Bank, Sambat Securities, right? So if you have username and password, you can enter into their portal, and you can buy and sell your assets, buy and sell your securities. And Capital Trust Stockbrokers, here Capital Trust. So they have also a portal, right? So under the Capital Trust, there are so many uh, subsidiaries, right? They are providing different services through these subsidiaries. So main company is Capital Trust Holding Limited. It's a main company, holding company. Under this Capital Trust Holding Company, there are many group of companies. Here, Capital Trust Credit Limited, Credit Trust Properties, Credit Trust Residencies, Credit Trust Technologies, right? Subsidiaries. And you can find, and you can visit, and you can find there are so many things in study, right? Right, the brokers may be individual or corporation. Commonly in Sri Lankan context, we can find corporations, companies, private limited, right? So, and they are involving in trading securities. So, individuals directly uh, unable to trade securities in the stock market. So, every time, even in case of buy or sell, every time you need the help of the brokers. Now we'll see the function of a dealer or broker. First, they are giving advisory and investment management services. So if we have additional money, then we can meet brokers. They will advise you so which stock is more profitable in the future, and they will ask whether your investment is short-term investment or long-term investment. So if you want to make a long-term investment, so on which stocks you have to buy, and if you in case of short-term investment, uh, what kind of stocks is better. So this kind of advices they will give you, and also they will advise you on what's the optimum time to buy stocks in up market or down market. So they will explain, and they will give you a lot of advices in this regard. And they also do some research, you know. When we visit the website, we have seen another important section is what when we look at, yeah, uh, yes, yes, the Barnes, Don Hills, they have a research, right? So what kind of research they are doing here? So these are the research outputs, right? Um, so they are evaluating companies. In this document, they have evaluated Ceylon Tobacco Company PLC. They have studied the trend finance here, what happened its to its revenue, what happens to its profit, EPS, and price equity ratio, return on equity. So they have done a trend analysis here. EPS, what was happened to EPS, right? Ceylon Tobacco Company, cigarette company. And they have write something, executive summary, abstract. If you click here, you can read more about this too, right? And they have done another research on distillers company of Sri Lanka. Time to time, they will do the research on the companies, this type of companies. Here, we can find there are a lot of volatilities. mm, Here, the price fall and increase. Here, you see the EPS 27, 18, 17, like that. EPS growth here minus. So this kind of research also they are provide to the clients. And executing orders and settlement. If you are willing to buy stocks, so you can make an order, you can give a command to them and they will execute. And in that, and also on behalf of you, they will settle your money, right? So you have to open a deposit CDS account, central depository system account. Through that system, the brokers will have an authorized to do so. And license with stock changes and distribution of financial products. So in the market, time to time, they introduce a new financial product. In Sri Lankan context, the financial products are limited numbers, in numbers. And but if you visit, if you check out about the global stock market like New York Stock Exchange, Euronext, then you can find a lot of financial products. You can find futures, derivatives, options, call option, put options, swaps, right? A lot of things we can find. But in our market, we can find uh, mainly the stocks, common stocks and preferred stock, and bond or debentures. Other than that, so it's hard to find. uh, Depositories mean it's like a mutual fund. What they do is they collect fund from general public like bank, but they are not but they actually they are not bank. The function is similar to the bank. So what they do is collect money from investors. Say, right, investors mean savers. There are so many number of investors is servers, so they have excess money. So what they do is they deposit their money into depositories. So they will collect all the money and they make their case balance as big. So they have pool of money and they will try to find best investment opportunities and make investments. They buy shares, sell shares, right? And if they generate profit, then they will distribute the profit among the investors based on their proportion of the investment. A depository is a specialized financial organization holding securities such as shares, either in certificated or uncertificated dematerialized form, right? So what's the goal of depositories? So easy transfer of ownership through a book entry rather than a transfer of physical certificates. So right, it's a digital form, right? It's a digital form. Um, no, in the earlier period when we deposit money in the bank as a fixed deposit, they will give us a certificate. We keep the certificate a certain period of time mentioned in the certificate, in the contract, then submit the certificate and we get the our principal amount and interest. If it is exchangeable one, transferable one, if anybody keep that certificate, who has the right to withdraw the money from the bank. But these repositories, the time to time they invest. So sometimes they will invest, sometimes they withdraw. So there are transactions like a bank passbook. So issuing of certificate is not uh, issuing physical certificate is not suitable in the high speed for the high speed transaction. So therefore they have a digital record book, digital passbook. Then they update everything in that passbook. So features of depositories, the depositories collect money from a different variety of investors, maybe individuals, family, companies, right? There are even in the government also we can the repositories can get the money, right? And all the money will make it into pool. So what they do is depositories invest the money in securities in a centralized location. They will use the money to make profit. So they can make profit, right? So the depository holds securities in account for its client. So the investor just give their money to the depositories. Depositories play with their money and they purchase shares with their name, not the investor's name. They purchase shares and bonds with their depository's name, but the depositories keep the details of how much investment taken from which investors. So that kind of information already in the hand of depositories. So based on the profit, they will distribute to the investors. So a depository holds securities in account for its client. A depository transfers securities between account even. So that investors know. So they will do some kind of transaction between investor A and B. So there are so many investors in their central depositories. So even not only outside, within the investors, it facilitates to make transactions, transfer securities between accounts also. Sometimes the price is higher. Now, between these investors, among these investors, sometimes some of them are willing to sell securities, some of them are willing to buy securities. So they don't want to go outside. Depositories also do the facilities. The transfer of fund or securities happens without actual handling of fund or securities. So you just give an order to depositories. You may have an interface. You have username and password, a portal. Through that portal, you can do everything. The transfer of fund or securities happens without actual handling of fund or transfer securities. Right? Everything is operated, functioning the digital system. You don't need to visit there. You just give a command then, right? You can your bank account will do the things. Both the banks and a depository are accountable for the safekeeping of fund and securities respectively. So investors put their money because they have believed, depositories believes the investors, right? They put their money valuable wealth in depositories for the purpose of earning profit. So therefore, they have to safeguard the investor, and also they are investing in different investment projects. So the safeguard of the project also is hand of the depositories. So the both banks and depositories are accountable for safekeeping of funds and securities respectively. So the banks accountable for safekeeping of fund, and depositories are accountable to secure the securities. So these depositories always function through bank, like sometimes it's function just like a bank, right? So bank what normally do, they collect money from general public, is service. So they pool all their money and they give loan to other customers, their clients. This is how banks make money. But the difference between the depositories and bank is, the normally bank give loan to the client, but the depositories are not give loan, rather than they are making investment in profitable projects. Maybe they can purchase shares or other form of investments, right? So that's the main difference. Clearing agent, clear. Assume that, imagine a Columbus Stock Exchange. There are 283 companies recently. So there are thousands of investors, thousands of per day. There are thousands of transactions. Some investors will buy stocks. Some investor will sell stocks. Some people buy and sell. Some people sell and buy. In a day, there may be several transactions made by a single investor. So this time it is difficult to manage how much have to give to which investors. So it's very difficult. So therefore, there should be a common system should be exist. Right here, the seller, if they make sales, sell the stock, sell the security, and it will goes to the clearing house, and the clearing house and make payment to the seller, and the buyer buy securities. Then he give the payment to the clearing house. The payment will be transferred to the seller, and this security, his security will be transferred to this buyer. So in the market there are so many sellers and so many buyers, and sometimes this buyer becomes seller, and the seller become buyer. The buyer becomes seller, and seller, buyer, seller, right? A day he can make several transactions of several company stocks. So it is difficult to manage manually. Therefore, they have established a system called clearing agent. In Sri Lankan context, can find, right. Uh, transaction may be go through exchanges in Sri Lanka. Columbus Stock Exchange, we can find main board. There is heavy board. These are the two main boards. And OTC. OTC means over the counter. They just come and trade and go. But this exchange board is the main one, the major things. The buyers, sellers. You know, the clearing corporations will do the clearings, the payment settlement. Agencies involved here in United States, stock clearing can be done by depository trust and clearing corporation or FedRoyal in US system. In Europe, securities clearing is offered by EMCF LCH, ClearNet. 6x clear and euro CCP. So these are the clearing agents operating in such countries. But we'll see in Sri Lankan context, central depository system, private limited. It's a company. It's a private company. The 100% ownership of this company belongs to CSE, Colombo Stock Exchange. Colombo Stock Exchange. So this CDS, function as a clearing house. So when we visit the website of CDS, e-dividend payment services. So once when the company declare dividend, that will be go to that system, depository system. It gives new features, virtual hybrid AGM, right? Virtual AGM registration. Here they are providing a lot of services. It's a company, so you can open account online, just click, and you can, if you are willing to make transaction, if you're willing to uh, invest in stock market, the registration on CDS is compulsory. So you need an app for that. So investor account services, securities, deposits, transfer of shares, e-services, information services, publication and downloads. You see CDS participants. Participant, right? So it gives many things. So you just visit the website and you can find a lot. So you can find there are so many services. Yeah. CDS is not a simple thing. So this is CSE. You can find the link of the website of CSE Colombo Stock Exchange. Now it has completed 35 years. Now they have digitalized everything. Prime residencies. So what they are going to do? Can find this trend. During the COVID period, the market is going up. After COVID, market is going up, upwards trend. And you see S&P 20 for 1 year It's also going up. And here, soft logic going to what they're going to do is pass providing that is a company, and I think they are going to make an IPO. Lancam Ceylon. Here they have some informations. Yes, there's an advertisement and announcement. Right. That is about a central depository system. It gives clearance services. So trustee mean normally we name trustee for non-profit organizations. Say a temple, vihara, we can find board of trustee, right? So they are responsible for safe guarding assets. Like when companies issues bond, company issues bond. That time, who is responsible for that? Who is responsible if company maybe the company is a forged one, right? Forged documents, fake companies, right? Nobody is going to uh, check out everything. No one is ready to. Many people are unable to investigate. So what actually means? Whatever the things disclosed in their document prospectus are true. So in that circumstance, the help of trustees is important. So when they issue bond, the bond issuers issue bond to the investors. So in between the bond issuer and bondholder, you can find trustee. So what they do is a trust deed. So there's an agreement between the trustees and organization and the bond issuer. So the trustee will check everything about the information provided by bond issuer. So bond, so trust deed is a document. So contractual obligations of borrowers and lenders. So it's a deed. Trust deed is a agreement between bondholders and issuers, investors and issuers, and the trustee will guide that. And the bond issue, at the time of bond issue, a trustee is required when a bond is to be issued. Here, so the trustee will oversee about this function. So first document is a contractual obligation of borrower and lenders. This agreement between these two parties, bond issuer and bondholder. And the time of bond issue, a trustee is required when the bond is to be issued. So the trustee's certification is necessary. So otherwise, bondholder mean the investors hesitate. So they are reluctant to buy uh, bonds. So trustee, what are the functions of trustee? So what they do is assets to be pledged as security. So when they are going to issue securities, bond in the form of whatever the form of debenture or bond. So sometimes they need some pledge, so some kind of mortgage. So based on that mortgage, the trustee will end endorse them, and so here you can find a trust deed contain the following information. It's an agreement. You can find these stuffs in the agreement, the deed. A deed is an agreement, legal documents, a deed. So asset to be pledged as security, principal repayment terms. So when the payment should be settled, on what terms, how. So it's an annual payment or fully discount bond, right? And on when it's mature, on what rate it pay interest, like that informations. Right of creditors in case of default, right? So sometime the bond issuer may be bankruptcy. So that time, what are the rights of the investors? Bondholders details who are many and dispersed. Uh, by issuing bond, the companies will raise millions of money. So this money will be dispersed, spread among a large number of investors. So that time they have to show their details, bondholders detail. And the restriction imposed on the borrower usually referred to as the covenants. So, right, they can put some restrictions when so for example, when a company issues bond as loan, the investors make some restriction on that company that you are not go for a second time loan issue, bond issue. You don't want to go for bank loan. You can't take any bank loan. So that kind of restriction can be imposed. And creditors protections with regards to the future additional borrowings by the borrower, and interest payment terms, a coupon rate and when payable. So what are the rate of interest payable, whether it is monthly payment or quarterly payment, semi-annual payment, annual payment, and how many years it will take. So that kind of information also we can find in the trust deed. Hence, a trustee is appointed to protect and enforce the right of the bondholders as contained in the trust deed. So the goal of the trustee is to appoint the protect the investors and enforce the right of the bondholders. They enforce the right of the bondholders. Now registrar. Registrar, what does a registrar do? Sometimes called secretaries. Secretaries for the exchange. So he knows everything. In CSC, CDS do these things. CDS, Central Depository System, do these things, this service, this function. So what does a registrar do? A registrar is an institution or organization that is responsible for keeping records of bondholders and shareholders. He will keep the record. So CDS keeps everything. Right? When you visit the website of CDS, you can find such information also. You can find so you can download register of secretaries, uh, and you can find listed corporate debentures. So you can download and see. So these are the So Abans PLC has issues bond. So this is the number, serial number, and so them ISIN. So issue date expired in 2019. So 5 years bond. It pays interest biannually every uh, 6 months, and issue price is 100. So coupon rate, the interest rate is fixed, and coupon type is fixed. Coupon rate is 9%. Interest rate is 9%. Actual, right? Issued quantity. So they have raised 7 million money. Issued quantity, not rupees. The number of bond issued. So right, this kind of information will keep by the registrar, right? So we can find there are many. Likewise, we can find a lot of stuffs in CDS. Right. So that's about registrar. Custodians. The custodians mean safeguarders. Now you can give something valuable to third party for a period of time in safe manner. Some people put their jewelries in the bank safe, in the banks, what do you call, safety locker, no, safety lockers. Some banks are providing that service also, safety lock. A custodian bank, they are safeguarding their assets, valuable assets. A custodian bank, or simply custodian, is a specialized financial institution responsible for safeguarding a firms or individuals' financial assets. They are what their service is safeguarding firms' assets, financial assets. So custodian is not necessarily engaged in traditional commercial or consumer retail bank. In our Sri Lankan context, normally these services are provided by commercial banks, but it is not necessary it should be a bank. So you can find in the world there are specialized institutions, they are providing custodian services only. The primary service is custodian service. The next slide we can find such companies, such institutions. Global custodians safe keep assets for their clients in multiple jurisdictions. Globe Custodian is a company, name of the company, name of the institution. So it has many branches all over the world. We can find many branches in Europe. So clients in multiple jurisdictions around the world. So using their own branches or other local custodians. You can find the next slide here. The Global Custodians is a company. So this is its logo. It's a trademark. Global Custodian. It's a trademark. So what the service is safeguarding the assets, safeguards their properties. What they do in our practical life. What they do is, so the people have a lot of valuable properties in Sri Lanka, and they are going to shift to USC for a long period of time. So they vacate Sri Lanka and they have no idea to return country in short period of time. So our people do hand over the assets, valuable asset, to the non-person, right? Non-valuable person. But this kind of service is provided by some institutions, the companies. These companies providing these safeguarding services. So The leading company is Global Custodian. So if you can visit the website of the Global Custodian, then you can find more about that. Here, Global Custodians. It's a company, right? It's a company. This is the website of that company. So it gives many services. Global Custodians. Right? They are giving many services. So this is its logo, right? And so they are issuing newsletter also. You can find about them. Yes. Here, globalcustodian.com is a website. Global Custodian, the leading and converge international securities and service business. And you see here about. And you can find largest custodian banks. BNI Mellon is one of the Citibank, Citigroup also is one of the leading custodian service. Custody services. So we safeguard assets and provide comprehensive portfolio administration for sophisticated investors seeks to consolidate accounts and simply record keeping. You can give your asset to this safeguarding company, custodian company, then you can enjoy your life in around the world. Right, so these are the companies: BNY, Mellon, JB Morgan Chase, State Street Corporation, Northern Trust, BNB, Privas. So these are the companies providing custodian services. It means safeguarding their financial assets. Now we move to the regulatory agencies.